Hey, Captain Danny here, Masked Man Fishing. Today, we're going to be changing out the water impeller on my Suzuki DF250SS. It's a pretty easy job, good way to save money. Do it yourself. It's not that hard to do. I'll do a step-by-step for you right here. This is another Masked Man maintenance moment. So I'm going to take this plate off, and then I will loosen up all these bolts. There's another one underneath here. I'll give you the sizes and everything. And the part number that I have here is 1740098J06. It's a complete kit. It's got the base plate, the cup, the whole, the impeller piece, the O-rings, everything. So good idea. They're cheap enough. If you're going to go ahead and do it, just replace the whole thing. There's no sense in just doing the impeller. It'll have the keyway in it and everything. Alright, let me get started. The first thing we're going to do, I'm going to try and do this without taking the impeller off. I mean the propeller off. So first thing we're going to do is pop off this cover right here. There's a big bolt underneath here. I think it's 17 millimeter. This one is a, what is it? This one's 12 millimeter. We'll take this piece off. And a deep well, go in there about perfect. Of course. We're going to go ahead and take this one all the way out. And you see the threads on this pretty dry. When we put all these back in, we're going to want to put just a little bit of marine grease on all these threads, because you definitely want to be able to get back into it easily. Don't use a Loctite or anything like that. So the little bolt was 12, the bigger one was 17, which is up inside of there. Can be confusing. And I think these are 14s. Let's see. Yep, these are all 14s. You got 6 of them. 3 on this side, 3 on the other. And one good thing to do is make sure that you raise your actually lower the tongue of the trailer, so lower the front of the trailer down, and then go ahead and raise that motor all the way up. That way, because there's these shafts that go in it, and you got to be able to slide those all the way out. So again, these are dry, so we will definitely grease all these threads. And these 6 are the same size. One thing we're going to do, this lead one here, we're going to crack it and leave it. So we're going to pull it all the way out. A lot of threads. Alright, so we're going to pull it all the way out, and then we're going to slide it back in, and we're going to give it like 4 or 5 turns. Leave that one in there. That way it holds on. This thing slides out. It's not going anywhere. Alright, now I'm going to crack all these loose. And so you can see here, I just set up a couple blocks of wood, and there's this yoga mat. You use a blanket or something. That's just what I had sitting there. Just so it creates a little pocket there where this lower unit can sit inside of it, so I can work on it without it falling over. So now I'm gonna wiggle this thing down, and I can't remember if there's one on here or not, but some of them right here on the front have your hose hook up for your speedometer. I don't have a speedometer on the boat because I just use the GPS. So that's one of the reasons why you want to leave this bolt in, so you can get to it. So I'm going to see if this will pop off without me having to. Sometimes it takes a little bit of persuasion. Okay, now it's resting on that nut. Okay, and I do not have the... All right, cool. I do not have that piece in there. So now I'm going to push it up, unscrew this bolt, and go ahead and put it on the thing that I built. All right, very carefully, I'm going to slide this out without bending anything. There we go. All right, so the front, the smaller shaft is your shift. So don't bend that. All right, let's set it on down over here. I'll take this opportunity to kind of inspect things. Everything looks good. I'll wipe that off. And you just want to make sure you got clean surfaces when you put it all back together. And this one, because it's such a new motor, it's clean. All right, one thing I do want to take note of, I'm going to bring you over here. Just to make note, this piece right here is a spacer. That needs to go back in. We're not going to take it out. It seems to be happy at home right there, so we're not going to take it out. But that little spacer needs to stay in there. Everything looks super clean. I'll clean these out. There's some dirt in there, but those aren't used, so those are just pins for lining them up. So okay, so here is the lower unit. This is where your impeller and everything is. We're going to change all this out. The plate, everything's going to be changed out except for that plastic cover. And we want to make sure that we clean this shaft and clean these threads on both of these and throw a little more grease on it. You always want to make sure that you can get it back out easily. So don't be afraid to throw a little grease on it. It's marine grease, or waterproof grease, I think they call it. But it doesn't really matter, I don't think. But it's cheap, so just do it. Marine grease. All right, so when we do this, we need to take... This shaft comes off if you want to, so. It only goes on one way, so you can't mess it up. So we can take this off and set it aside. Don't turn that, because that's going to shift it into another gear. All right, so we're going to take off this little plate right here. And this is a 10 millimeter. And all this does is kind of secure that mounting plate stays on, which is this metal one behind it. And now we're going to take this cup off, and it is a 12 millimeter. And then all we're going to do is just slide this off. It's pretty clean inside. Now, one thing I will tell you, when you take the impeller, leave it upright wherever you put it, because you want it to spin the same way when you put the new one in. So one little thing that I like to do is take my phone and just snap a photo of it, just for reference, because I will second guess myself. We can go ahead and pull it off. There's a keyway in it. If you don't know what a keyway is, I'll show you if I can get my fat fingers in there and get it out. I can't. This is a keyway. And all it is a little piece that slides into a groove, so your impeller will stay on that, or will turn. And then the plate. If you need to use a screwdriver, you can, just very gently. Because it will have a gasket underneath it that seals up. Very gently. I don't want to scratch any of that. And this will slide off. And now you can take a scraper. You see how we've got some of that gasket still left on there? We got to get all that off. So you can take a little scraper and scrape it off, clean it off. All that needs to be cleaned up. You don't have to go crazy with it, because that new one does seal pretty good. But actually that's not bad. But wipe this off pretty good. If you got some chunks like that, take those off. You don't want the chunks on there. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start putting this stuff together. There's your gasket. Your other gasket. It goes in the cup. Oh, it does come with another. It does come with another bracket. So we can toss that one. Should have a new keyway. There it is. There's a new keyway inside of here too. We're going to set the new stuff on this side, not to be confused with the old stuff, which is over here. Alright, we're going to take this cup apart. There's a little lip inside of here you can use to push it out. It is in there. I've been known to run into some sand. Sounds like there's some sand in there. Okay. Alright, we're going to throw that aside. We're going to throw this aside. Now we're just going to wipe this out real good before we do anything else. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put this cup together. So you can take a little bit of the marine grease and kind of run it around inside of this. That took a beating right there. Don't need to go crazy, but it does help you get all this together. and it helps with your first startup. So after you first do it, it helps with the startup. The thing will just, it's not going to be just sitting on half stuck to something. So this is your ring for your cup, and there's an obvious direction for it. All we're going to do is just get it down in all those holes, push it down in there even. Now it is super hot out today, so they're probably a little more pliable than normal. Alright, got all that in sitting nice. Now we're going to put the cup in. Ooh, that's hot. Okay, you probably cannot see this, but there's a little cut on this thing, and there's a little groove right there. And this needs to sit right inside of that. So I'm going to put a little bit of grease on it. I mean hot. I can barely touch this thing. A little bit of grease on the outside of this. And I can see that groove. I'm going to slide this right into that groove. Look at that. First shot. I know what you're thinking, man. He's good. Everything seems to be sitting right. All right. Now let's move back over to the lower unit. All right, we're going to go ahead and throw this gasket on. There's really only one way that it can go, because it's got these, we'll call them mounting pins. It's these little pins that stick up. I'm going to call them dummy pins. So they're good for dummies. Makes it easy for me. All right, make sure the bottom's clean of this one. Same thing. The dummy pins will save you. Bam. Look at that. All right, now we need to put our impeller on with the keyway. I'll do it the keyway. There it is. So this one too, there's only one way it can go, because it's got the holes on this side. It's not on this side. So this side goes down. So the side with the hole goes down, because that's what's going to slide over your keyway. Because we cleaned this shaft up, we can add a little bit of grease to it, because this is going to be a tight fit. For sure. All right, and the keyway opening down, and make note of where the keyway is on this side. And it is snug. Okay. Now we're going to slide the keyway in and slide the impeller down over top of that keyway. All right, now we got that in there. Now we just put the cup on it. Now remember which way to turn the shaft. Get this thing lined back up. There we go. All right, so now we're going to slide this cup over it. Now remember which way this was turned. To the right, so clockwise. So we're going to slide this over top. Get it down over, and we're going to turn this shaft and put a little pressure down. And there we go. That's all we're going to do. So you slowly turn it and push down slowly. And that thing will turn and it'll curve just like it's supposed to and go right in place. All right, now we're going to put the plate on it. And we're going to put a little bit of grease on the threads. And we're going to do that on all of them. Because next time we do this, we want it to be easy. Never want to have an issue doing maintenance. Maintenance should be the easy part. Now we're going to tighten opposite sides just to where they snug down. And this is a plastic housing, so we don't have to go crazy with it. I don't have a torque wrench. I need to probably get one. So I don't know what the specs are on this, but I do know that it's plastic housing, so we don't want to go crazy with it. And I do have a tendency to break things, so don't want to do that. All right, we're going to tighten down this little plate. Again, don't need to go crazy with it. All we're doing is seating gaskets and holding it in. It's not an insanely tight air thing. All these look good. All right, we're ready to install. All right, I found this much easier to, this is your shift linkage, I guess you call it. It's easier to put this in first and then slide that lower unit back on, because there's a little connection up here. And that thing just clicks into place, and then you're not fighting with the two rods trying to get them in there. All right, so now I'm gonna try and put this unit back on. I got my one bolt over here, so I can grab it one-handed, so we can get this thing on here. It's a little bit difficult because this thing is not light. There we go. Go ahead and screw this thing in here. All right, now we're going to put a little bit of grease on every one of these, bolts, and we're just going to kind of finger tighten them. All right, and these are 14 millimeter again, and all we're going to do is tighten them down a little bit. You can see there's a gap right here. I need to get that where before we tighten everything up, we need to just put a little bit of pressure on that. Now we're going to tighten this bolt up inside of here. Again, it's a 17 millimeter. All right, we're all done. Pretty easy job. Takes probably an hour, hour and a half. If you have two people, it makes it so much easier. So do yourself a favor, save a little bit of money, do it yourself, know your own engine. Thank you for watching. Do me a favor and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Maskman out.